Hello, welcome to another video of this SVA Design YouTube channel, and in today's video I figured instead of just showing you guys the body panels and the things that I've been doing to the body panels, why not take you to the process of actually making one. So let's do that second half of the video, but I do also want to give an update on everything that I've been doing thus far and all the things that I've created, things of that nature. So here in the front of the car you can kind of see there is a headlight, and now the two nostrils, the holes kind of getting more defined because the bumper is under it, so you can kind of see where the air intakes for the engine would be. And also this big gaping hole right here would be for the radiator, so that would run the complete length of the side. And because this car is naturally aspirated, no forced induction, you don't really need intercoolers, you don't really need a lot of plumbing, things of that nature, so you only need one big radiator and maybe have like a smaller secondary radiator to have like maybe hydraulic cooling and also gearbox and differential coolers and things of that nature. But I could also run those on the back of the car because that is where the gearbox would be, so that would make for a little bit less volume on the liquids because you have less tubing, things of that nature. So that is what you can see on the front. Then we have the fenders, the hood, and the door. And a lot of the work that I still have to do is just the mirror things, but I figured why not make the body panel for the rear part of the car, so maybe the rear third quarter view, and to just do it that way. So that will kind of be next, I guess. So another thing that I wanted to point out is that you can kind of start to see the stance of the vehicle with just the roof line, and I'm really liking everything because also aerodynamically I've tested the front bumper part of the car. I haven't really done anything with all of the components in here together, but you know, this is just very cool to see how these vortexes are being created, and it's kind of a curtain around the front wheel that will guide air around it, and then also behind the back of the wheel you can kind of see the hole that is being created here for the turbulent air and all the high air pressure to spill out. And it's just cool to see that the things that you thought about in your head are kind of working aerodynamically. So yeah, that is everything that I've done so far. And the only thing that I haven't mentioned is that the headlight, I think it's a very cool piece of sculpture just by itself. I would love to have it on my desk. But also, as you can see, it is see-through, and that also means that air can flow through. And because there are also no brake cooling ducts, I figured why not have the headlights serve for multiple purposes. So there will be like a carbon fiber tubing going from the brake onto the rear, the caliper. So that is also another thing that is coming for sure. Yeah, I guess that is everything that I needed to share up till this point. I do believe, and am thinking about kind of switching these headlights out. I don't really know if I like this lower element, so I'm just thinking about making one light bar that is in the same shape as this one, but this is a little bit thicker. So instead of having this light right here as a main beam, you would just have these as main beams, and then with one LED bar that is kind of running the length of this shape that you can see over here. So that is the only thing that I'm thinking about switching out. But just looking at this by itself, I do think that it's an incredible piece of structure, and with this, all of the three-dimensional shapes that are in there, I think it looks amazing. But of course, I'm gonna be biased. I designed the damn thing for sure. So let me know what you think about it. Yeah, let's get into the other file. So as I've already mentioned in probably a previous video, I'm kind of working from body in white type of file to generate all of these body panels off of. So that is why they're also perfectly matching, because everything is basically made off of this file you can see right here. So of course you can see some changes that are made through the hood and through the front splitters, a little bit different. But and I'm also still need to change this inner structure right here because I'm still not really a fan of it. But what I can create right now is basically the C-pillar, or would it be a B-pillar in this case? We just call it a C-pillar for now, and the upper portion of the rear fender, and I'll probably make all of this into one component. So this right here, yeah, this body panel, this body panel, this body panel, this body panel, this one, and this one configured into one piece. And then we only have the diffuser, the rear deck, and the rear bumper to figure out, and the rear taillights to figure out how to do that. But that won't really take a lot of time. That is 2 days, maybe maximum work. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to thicken all the components that I will need. And to do that, I have this toolbox, and it's called Surfaces. And this Surfaces toolbox, I believe you can get it in the options, but you have to do the drop down menu, and I don't know if it was customize or add-ins, but one of these two. Let's see, customize. Yeah, it's over here. And then you can kind of select surfaces here. If you check that box, then you will get the toolbox. And then I just put it over here, and that kind of enables me to do the surface modeling work that I do in SolidWorks. So that is the first step that I would consider taking if you're working with these surfaces and things of that nature. So this button right here, it says thicken. That is the magic button that we have to transform these surfaces into actual, how do you call it? It's actual entities with thicknesses, I guess. So that is maybe the best way to put it for me right now. So then you can just select a component, and then you can give it its thickness, but then you also have to select in which direction you want it to actually get thickened. So I usually use 3 millimeters inward, and then you just press enter and it's done. So now this surface has a thickness, and it's no longer just a regular surface. So again, you do it for the same for another panel, but you will probably run into a problem by now. And then you will have this box called merge results. You do want to select it for right now, but sometimes it doesn't work because these lines are perfectly lined up, and then when the surface gets thickened, they don't really merge well, and you get zero thickness entities, things of that nature. And if you work with SolidWorks enough, you will probably know what a zero thickness entity is. So SolidWorks can't really calculate these spaces between things if they're not really completely merged together. A whole lot of headaches you will get from this if you are working in SolidWorks as seriously as I am. But let's just see what happens if I click the magic button, and you can see surface could not be thickened, whatever. So what you can do then is just unclick the merge result button, again click on it, and it will work. But now it went in the wrong direction, I believe. So I still have to do it on the inside, and maybe the merge result will work now, and it did. So for now, in this case, you can see that this is now one complete merged element. So hopefully we get lucky on a couple body panels, but we probably don't. So we'll see what happens. So the next one, again, select thicken on the surface, make sure it goes in the right direction. So you don't want it to come outwards, you want it to go inward. Select merge results, click on OK button, and again, we are lucky. This will be probably a wrong video to teach off of if it just continues to go like that. But for me, I'm happy that it works. Next body panel. Merge results. Make sure it goes inward. And again, this has never happened to me before, but I'm happy that I got it on camera. Next one. Let's just see what happens. Here. Oh, I didn't select merge results on this one. And here we go. But now I'm kind of not sure if I selected merge results on. Oh yeah, it's only that one. No problem. So now we have to thicken this one. We have to thicken this one without selecting the merge results, and then you will kind of be able to see that if you select the intersect tool, that these components are now separate. They're not considered as one complete entity that is solid with each other. So later on I will show you how to fix the problem, and but let's also consider this component into this body panel, and then later on we'll kind of figure out a way to mount the glasses and everything, because I do want to reinforce it a little bit. And then this will be attached to the carbon fiber monocoque, of course. So yeah, let's also select this component, and then you have to thicken, make sure it goes in the right direction, And here you can select which body you want it to merge to. So because now you can see that there are multiple entities, multiple bodies that are solid instead of it being one solid body. So now you can select it if you want it to be automatic, or if you want to select the body needs to be selected too. So that goes either way and it works again. So for this tutorial, it's pretty handy because I only have to do it once to show you how to turn the solid entities into one single piece. So yeah, pretty good actually. But this is messed up. I hate it when this type of thing happens. Yeah, I'll figure out a way to clean it up a little bit. Okay, but for the other part of the car, we have to make sure that these body panels line up, of course. And I believe that I kind of selected a way for the door. So if you open the door, you're actually able to see a large part of the rear wheel, and I kind of thought it was cool. But I thought it from the center was a 45-degree line up, so I think if I do the same thing with the body panel, that it would be good. But I guess on the carbon fiber monocoque, I cut this piece off because this is also attached to it. I have to figure out a way to make that work then. But yeah, let's see what happens if I cut this off. Does this have a center? Is this actually a circle? Here we go. And then it was a 45-degree line in this direction. Where the hell is the 45 degree? There we go. Yeah. And then gonna drag a box. And here you get to select all the bodies that you want to keep, but in this case it's only this one right here, but you still have to get a piece of the body panel over here. So okay, and if everything is correct, this should be linked up perfectly, but we can also test that out right now. So save this file and then go to the complete car. I'm talking as if you can do the same thing, but hopefully you guys don't have this file. That would be weird. But just to show you what I do, you can kind of drag it out and then link the body panels with each other, and they should match up perfectly because they're all based on the same file. So, and that also gives some headaches, by the way, but I'll see if I can show you guys how and why later on. So now you can see that it wasn't a 45-degree line and that it was a little bit different. But now that we are actually in the file, we can also change a couple of things around. So then there was one other component that we needed to fix on the fender on the rear side. But to make life easier, I can delete most of the components that are in here that I don't really need for the fender. So a lot of these components are kind of interlinked with each other, and they're based on each other's existence to actually be possible to be made, if that makes sense. So let's say I can't really make this windshield because the windshield is made off of a connection between this line from the hood and this line from the roof, and then the guideline here and then this guideline here. So if I delete this, then this might not exist anymore. So sometimes you kind of need to be careful on which parts you can delete and which parts you can delete. But as much as possible, just take out the major components and everything. You can see that these surfaces kind of won't really exist anymore if you take that away. So for now that is fine because all of those surfaces we don't really need. But in other cases you will see that certain components will kind of fail when you do this type of thing. So you can see that here a lot are gone. But I will just do that for now for myself, and I will come back to you in a second. So yeah, that is really enough for me to just continue on this with this file. So if I now select the intersect button, you can see that this one component is kind of lonely and that it's not really intersected with the rest of the body. So there are two ways to do this, and one is a very easy way, and that is just to select the intersect, also select this component, click on the intersect button, and then you can see operation failed due to geometry conditions, whatever. So it won't really work to intersect these components this way. The other way is a little bit more difficult, but we will get there. So I usually select the top view or the side view depending on how the lines are laid out with the rest of the component. So in this way, the top view would work a little bit easier. So then you select also the top plane, extrude cut, and then I usually use the offset entities tool, select this outer line right here, this outer line right there, and it don't really work like that. So sometimes you have to do it separately, but I usually use 5mm offset, and then also on the top do the same with reverse it, and then 5mm offset. So I then draw these lines out because you kind of need a little bit more than what is there sometimes, and then you can draw a box around everything that you will cut off. So what I then do for the next step is extrude cut, and then select through all on both directions, and then also select the body you want to use it for. So only this body. So you don't really want to take this hole out of the rest of the fender. You will only want the edges to come off of this part right here. And now you can kind of see that it's completely free of the rest of the components. So there are two things that you can do from this point going forward, and one of them is the easiest one, and it is just to kind of use the loft tool to select this surface, and they will connect. And sometimes you're very lucky and that will work, but for the video purposes it would be great if it doesn't work right now, but we'll see what happens. So if I select OK, and it works. So that is kind of disappointing from the video point of view, but sometimes it will say that these bodies can't really connect with each other because there are two separate entities, and the loft being created in between would create another zero thickness geometry, things of that nature. So what you can do in this case is just select also again the top view or bottom view, and this view would be better, and you just select the extrude tool. From again, let's use just the top line, and just draw a rectangular shape that goes in this direction, and also draw another one in on the other panel. Select extrude, and then up to next, so that the both of them will kind of intersect with their corresponding bodies, I guess. And then these two, you can then use a rectangular sketch tool on the bottom of this one to kind of connect these two. And now these bodies are connected if everything goes to plan. So now you can see that if you go to the intersect tool, everything is one body, and you can just merge everything together the way you want it to. So in this case that wasn't necessary, but in the case that for you, if you're trying to do this body or the body modeling and everything, if it doesn't work, you can try this method as well. But for me, it wasn't necessary today. Okay, so now the only thing to do is to select also to merge these ones, but you can kind of see that this body panel has some sort of incaving in it because these aren't perfectly aligned with each other. So what you can do is just 3D sketch, convert entities. That doesn't work, but then you can select these lines separately and still use the convert entities tool, and then draw a straight line from this point to this point right here, and then also loft base, and just select the sketch, and then select the surface. Use this line right here as a guideline because those are connected properly, and then if everything goes correctly, it should be fine, and it is. So if you want the surface to be smoother, you can then later on apply fillets and things of that nature to it. But in my case, I can do it right now just to showcase what it would look like, but you can't really, it's not a really noticeable difference, I guess. And sometimes in some cases it won't even go because they're already pretty good and lined up and everything. A good way to check it is always to go to evaluate and then select the zero stripes, and you can kind of see if everything lines up, if these stripes are lined up. So if you see white on white, black on black, you can kind of see that here it is mismatching a little bit, but and again also here you can see that it is mismatching. So this one would be beneficial to fillet it, at least this surface right here, because you can here see clearly that it is black on white, but here it is white on white, black on black, and so that won't really be a problem. And this line right here is also pretty good. There's a little bit of overlay in it, but you can also get that out pretty quickly. So and in certain cases you kind of want it to be mismatching. So right here, if you want to have a sharp edge right here, you kind of want it to be mismatching, as I said. So that is a good way to check it always. And then the inner lining of the fender, I can still do that, but I on purposely did that as last, because sometimes it is handy to kind of use just to make sure that it is what is the proper way to say it, to not have it merged with the other components before you kind of do the fender, because sometimes you still need to take a little bit out of it because it will kind of intersect throughout the body panel, I guess. So hopefully that is a clear way to put it. Again, at 3mm, and my fault, I clicked merge results, but I don't want to do that yet. Okay, also do the same thing on the top. 3mm, no merging results. So, and what I mean with merging body panels and stuff, maybe it's handy for me to also take out everything that I don't need on it first. I don't want it to cut off the top right here. In the other direction, please. Yes. So, yeah. What I mean with mismatching is that you can kind of see that it is extruding a little bit through the body panel, and you don't want that, of course. So what you can do is then select the side view, or not the side view, but just the side plane, I guess. Extrude. Select this body panel, convert entities, extrude cut, click on the body panel up to surface, done. And it will be perfectly lined up with the body panel, I guess. So also do that for this surface right here. So again, same process, front plane, extrude cut, click on the body panel, convert entities, extrude cut, double click the surface to make it up to surface. Okay, done. Now we have to intersect these two, and sometimes that is a little bit of a pain in the ass because these are also not really lined up properly. So that is what this is right here. And by the way, I'm moving a little bit too quickly, but what I was doing was click on the intersect button in the features tab, use this, click this body right here, click this body right here, intersect them, and then click on OK. Doesn't work. So what you can do now is just again go to the front plane, extrude cut, and then on the border of the two of them, gonna make a small cube, and but also make sure that the center of the lines of the cube are just straight instead of having like the edge mirrored in there. So that is a little bit of that, and then select through both directions, and the only bodies you wanted to cut through are these two. Okay, and now we can use the loft on the body panels. And you can see that everything is now one. That's it. And if this doesn't work for you, you can also use the loft to go only with these two instead of selecting all the bodies. So then you can select this body, and will only integrate these two. But let's see. Oh, selected the third face. So this face with this face here, and then it will only use these two, and then you can select on intersect between these, and it will probably work out because we just saw that it will go. Hopefully this works, and it does. So now you can see that also the fender is there. But in real life, this fender still needs to be altered because you know, this whole space is kind of needed for suspension travel. So I will kind of make a different shape for the actual fender, but this is now just for the look of it. So yeah, and there'll also probably be a race version with some fins, but I'm planning on doing a GT3 version, of course, for it. But that will come later on, I guess. So yeah, let's see, all of these lines can go out, and then I can put it in with the other file, and then we're done for this video. So now we have the clear component with nothing but the actual body panels in the file, and I can go back through the original and again also give it the same purple body color. I love this color, by the way. And also it is like with a metal flake that is kind of with a blue metal flake in it, so it looks, to my eyes, it looks amazing. And also put that in there, and then save this file as well. And now we can render it, put another picture up on Instagram, and we're done for the day. But yeah, I'm just want to put a good end picture just to give you guys an overall feel of what everything would be. So yeah, that is everything that comes with it. And this video now has taken me 41 minutes to do the body panel, and of course it would be a little bit quicker if I wasn't really talking through the process and if my computer wasn't running on all of its power with recording, things of that nature. But that is everything that is in the car right now. So for body panels, the only thing that is left to create is the floor. That will kind of be one part with the diffuser. And the cool thing about it is that this front splitter is more of a wing than an actual splitter. So if you can see it, there will kind of be a secondary floor going underneath this splitter. So it actually, there will be a splitter underneath the front wing. I think that is a better way to put it, because this is more of an actual front wing than it is a splitter. And it's also creating somewhere between 200 and 150 kilograms of downforce at 250 kilometers an hour. So and that's without ground effects. That is just if it would be in free air instead of it being close to the ground. So that will be substantial. Just to drive on the front of the car, we have a lot of grip, a large engine in the front that has a lot of weight in combination with front end downforce. So to make the car not very oversteery and to make the front end very fast and have the rear catch up, you would need also a lot of downforce on the rear. But of course there's also still the gearbox in the rear of the car that is not in the file right now, just to save some space up. But that will also put a lot of weight onto the rear tires. And of course a large diffuser in combination with the active rear wing that will still sit here. And I'm also thinking about making active aero components in this front wing to kind of make cutouts and to have them also to be able to move up and down with the pitch and everything. And then there will be a big radiator sitting here, as I said in the beginning. So aerodynamically, this car is pretty solid. So all of the air that is coming in the radiator here will be exiting throughout these holes that you see right here, so out the hood. And I'm thinking that these holes are a little bit too small to kind of let all of the air out, so I will also have some spill out of it and come out of here, out of the side. And then of course there's also a little bit of a gap between the monocoque and the glass on the window and the extension on the hood that is kind of a little bit higher for also hot air just to come out of there. Not really any ducts or anything, just to have a little bit of ventilation. And you can also see that on this component I need to cut it off right here. So that will be a little bit of a challenge to figure out how exactly that will work, but we'll make it work. So that is another thing, and I guess that is it for this video. So really thanks for watching. If you had the patience to kind of get through this video, I'll make sure to edit it a little bit, that you can maybe have it in 15 minutes instead of the 40 plus minutes that I'm working on this video for right now. Yeah, thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. My name is Veldboom from SVA Design, and I am out.